Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. And we've got us a good friend back with us again. It's Colonel Mike Waggett. He was just here with us a couple of months ago, and we were talking about some fun, crazy stories of you flying the F-111 and some near-death experiences and all that stuff. And you said, you know what, I need to come back with my uniform and maybe do something for Veterans Day week, right?
Absolutely. Happy Veterans Day, Chris.
Happy Veterans Day.
Good to see you again.
Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for saying that. That's very nice.
Does it mean something when people say that to you?
It does. If you see a veteran, say thanks for your service.
Yeah.
I think they'll get a little lift out of it. And there's some folks out there that are, suffering from a little stress and anxiety from their service, and just saying that to them really makes them feel better for the day.
I always kind of wondered about that because I'll see somebody in uniform at the airport or even just, in the store or something like that, and I don't know if I should say something like that or if it's corny or if it's out of place.
You should.
Okay.
You should. Say thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. So it is Veterans Week, Veterans Day week, and so we're kind of celebrating that. You retired as a commander of a training center, fighter pilot, F-111. How many years were you in the service?
I was in 24 years.
24?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Did that go by fast, or was it long? Or
There were times that it felt a little long, but I had a great career. I did a lot of really neat things, traveled all over the world, and got to affect a lot of young men and women through some education and training as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We do celebrate veterans this week, right? Do veterans get the recognition they should get in our country?
I think these days it's a lot better than what it used to be back in the Vietnam War days. Veterans Day started as Armistice Day in 1919 after the end of World War I, and then it became known as Veterans Day in the early 50s after World War II. So it just sort of expanded the meaning of what the day was celebrating, and that's veterans. And I'm pleased to see all the various businesses in town offer veterans discounts. If you ever go down to Branson and see what they do down there, it's fantastic. So I feel good that Veterans Day is being celebrated the right way.
Well, and it should be. I mean, the old saying is freedom isn't free, right? And there's nothing truer in the world than that, because people have given their lives or parts of their body or, parts of their mind to serving this country and keeping it free.
Yeah, about 1% of our U.S. population is served in the military. And those folks should be applauded for stepping forward, putting their lives on the line every day that they serve. And we should say thanks to them.
Absolutely. And like we said earlier, if you see them, do say thank you. And they do appreciate that. We hear some really scary numbers, sad numbers about veterans committing suicide. Last number I heard was like 22 a day.
I've seen anywhere from 22 to 40 a day are taking their own lives, and we need to do things to help those folks, to offer services, to make sure the VA is doing what they're doing the right way and getting these folks some help.
Yeah, absolutely. This post-traumatic stress disorder is a real thing.
It is.
Right? I mean, I remember stories, World War II, the guys would come back and they just wouldn't talk about it a lot of times. And that may have been post-traumatic stress, or it may not have been, but it wasn't really recognized or given the due that it deserved. It seems like we do more of that now. We do recognize
We
that.
do, but there's more work to be done for sure.
Yeah. What can an average person like me do to help a veteran in that situation?
There are several organizations out there, several, that you can go onto Google and say, type something for helping veterans with PTSD, and there'll be several opportunities to either donate, provide logistical support, or volunteer.
Right. Okay. And the ones we hear most about are Wounded Warrior and things like that. Do those do good?
Oh, they do tremendous good. The Tunnel to Towers organization is Wounded Warriors. There's the Healing Box Project.
Yeah, right here locally.
Right here locally. So if you are interested in helping, support one of those organizations or donate to a VFW. VFW also provides some services to help work with the VA to get help for PTSD.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic. That is such good information to have that a lot of people don't hear sometimes. So you were in the service for 24 years, fighter pilot of the F-111. Yeah. So that was like your favorite buddy for many years. I mean, that was your thing.
It was a great airplane. I loved flying every minute of it. It's one of the only times in your life, and I miss it, because when you're flying this aircraft, you are singularly focused.
Yeah.
And there's not many other things in life that you do that you're singularly focused. And I miss that feeling of flying the aircraft and just focusing on the mission.
For those of us who haven't been a fighter pilot, is it like riding a roller coaster? I mean, you're in there and you got the joystick and you can pretty much do anything you want.
Ish. You do get some G-forces in a roller coaster that are amplified by quite a bit when you're flying a high-performance fighter aircraft.
Yeah.
But it's three-dimensional, whereas a roller coaster is really kind of not.
Right, yeah.
So, it changes the way you're thinking. You have to think in 3 dimensions when you're flying this aircraft and have situational awareness of what's happening around you, what your wingman is doing, what the enemy's trying to do, where your target is, how am I going to fight my way in, how am I going to get out. And so there's a lot of, I'll give you an example. An airline pilot, the easiest thing they do is take off and land the airplane.
Right. Okay.
In a fighter aircraft, that's the easiest thing that you do.
Okay.
Did I say that right? The toughest thing they do is take off and land.
The hardest thing they do is land.
The easiest thing that we do is take off and land. Really? Everything in between is where you've got to train and train and train.
I guess so, because you're not just flying the plane, but you're trying to avoid enemies. You're shooting bullets or missiles.
We dropped the air-to-ground munitions. No, we didn't have a gun.
Okay.
But we did have some Sidewinder missiles that we imported.
Hey, give me a gun, man, right? Okay, so we're talking with Colonel Mike Waggett here as we celebrate veterans during Veterans Day week, and we'll get some more stories from Colonel Mike on flying the F-111. So don't go anywhere. This is the COMC Community Spotlight Show. Central Ozarks Medical Center, voted Missouri's best and best at the lake, is recruiting team members due to growth. Amazing employment opportunities for both medical and non-medical positions with competitive salaries and outstanding perks. For more information, go to the Careers tab at centralozarks.org. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Join a leader. Join our team. COMC, where your health is our mission. If you love the lake, you gotta love Lake TV. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals, parades, aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. Welcome back to the Lake TV Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at Central Ozarks Medical Center. We're talking with our friend Colonel Mike Waggett as we celebrate veterans on this Veterans Day week. We were talking about you being in the service, 24 years, F-111 fighter pilot. We do celebrate veterans because they gave part of their life for us.
Yes.
And this country.
And their families also did.
That's a good point. We forget about the families at some point. So you brought a couple of props here, your F-111, your aircraft, and this bottle of Evan Williams, because you won the Evan Williams American Made Heroes Award. So let me read something here. Evan Williams says, "We are proud to honor American-made heroes who have served our country with courage and dedication. The purpose of the foundation is not only to provide a platform for sharing their inspiring stories, but also raising public awareness for causes impacting the veteran community and supporting nonprofit organizations." That is a great thing. So this was really a profound honor for you.
It was, and I'll tell you a little bit about how it came to be. I was at the office, and I actually got a phone call that said, "Hey, we want to talk to you about this American-Made Heroes Award." And I thought it was a spam call. I really did.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that one of my employees had nominated me for this honor.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to set up a video interview with me. I made the first cut. There's about 6,000 nominations that came in, and whittled it down to, I think, about 400 of us. And so I met the folks at Evan Williams, and we did a Zoom call, basically, from the Lake of the Ozarks. And then I got a phone call saying that you're one of the 6 that we've selected this year.
Wow.
So I then had to go provide some further information. They did a background check on me to make sure I was who I was. And they asked me what charity did I want to give $10,000 to.
Wow.
And so being involved with the Camdenton VFW down here, I said, let's give it to the VFW. They're going through a building remodel. They need this money really, really badly.
Right.
So let's send it to the local VFW. I didn't want to support anything that wasn't kind of local here.
Right.
So I got a picture made. And
your picture's actually on the bottle.
My picture is on there.
Yeah.
A little likeness of me right there.
How about that?
I've got this little American-Made Heroes edition tag on it. Mom and Dad were so proud that their son's on the side of a bourbon bottle. I finally had made it, in their minds. I'm on the side of a whiskey
Forget
bottle.
that 24 years flying in F-111, right?
So I got to meet their ambassadors, did some radio and TV deal, and yeah, that was really neat. That made me feel like all the community stuff that I've been doing had been recognized.
Yeah.
So, and it's good bourbon too.
Yeah, it is. Or at least that's what I've heard, right? So, and you talk about the community stuff. You do so much out in the community. I mean, you and your wife, you're co-owner of MSW Designs.
Interactive
Designs. I always forget the interactive. Yeah, so you and Sandy have a very successful business, right? And but you don't tell a lot of people about your heroics, the things you've done in the, as a fighter pilot and all that stuff. So it's great to be able to talk about that. Have you enjoyed life after military and being the owner of your business?
Very much so. It's a dream to work with my wife, actually. I almost didn't pass the interview. But
none of us do, right? Yeah.
So I help her with some business development stuff with the business. And we learned very quickly, and we did this while we were in the military, is you've got to get involved in the community. We're here on earth to help others.
Yeah.
And so we were completely blown away by the Lake of the Ozarks area. It is the most charitable and giving community that I've ever lived in. And that says a lot because I've lived in a lot of communities.
Yeah.
And so we jumped right in, helping out with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Kiwanis. We got involved with the Chamber. We got involved with the CVB to help promote tourism here.
Yep.
We're at every charity golf tournament. I run the Duck Drop and the Christmas for Kids events, last year at least. And it just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And we are helping thousands of people here at the lake that need it.
And it makes a difference. I mean, it really makes a difference in people's lives. You were talking about doing golf tournaments and stuff. I wanted to bring up, we're down to our last minute already, but you and your dad won a national championship golfing, right?
We won the National Father-Son Championship in Myrtle Beach in 2006. There was about 1,400 golfers.
Wow.
And we both played out of our minds. And it was this gross, huge pro golf bag that they gave us. And I'm like, I can't even put it on the cart.
Wow.
But to do that with my dad was one of the highlights of my life. And I'm sure it was a highlight of his life as well.
Wow, that is so amazing. Do you remember what you shot that day?
No. I do remember walking down it was like a football long scoreboard, and we had our total for the three-day tournament.
Yeah.
And Dad and I are just looking, because we were done and there were about 200 other golfers, and like, nobody's below us.
Wow.
And I was actually going to hit the road to get back to my home in Tennessee, and I called my wife and said, Sandy, I got to stick around. So
I just won a national championship.
Yeah.
So he's Colonel Mike Waggett. Thank you, sir, for your service.
Absolutely, thank you.
God bless you. And thank you so much for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.